Hello and welcome back to my channel. And in this video, I'm gonna show you the 30 Mark 43 Iron Man from the 30. Now, this is the official release from the 30 for the first time for the Marvel Avenger line. And I have to say, job well done to 30 because this figure is absolutely amazing. And so I ordered this one for about $89 plus the shipping, so officially directly from the 30 website. Now, most of the figures I always get it directly from the 30 website, unless the figures that are over 135 pound limit, and then I have to get it from a UK retailer. So I have to say this is really awesome figure. And I pre-ordered a long time ago, and I think some people in China and Australia have already received this. And then in the UK we just received it now. So unfortunately we are always slow. I don't know why, and that's the way it is, I guess, because these companies are based in Hong Kong and China, so whatever is closest to them in Asia and Australia, they always get it first. So the same with the Hot Toys, Iron Patriot. I mean, I've seen it on social media everywhere. A lot of people are already posting and showing off their figures. And I asked my, UK retailer, the Big Chief Studio, and they said, we're not getting it until October or November. I said, excuse me. I mean, how come, like people already received it in Asia, and how come we don't receive it yet? They said, well, we're gonna have to wait, and that's the way it is, and the way they do business, and all these stuff, which they tell me in detail in their email, but I don't quite understand all the stuff, so I'm just not gonna get into it now. I said, I'm a reviewer, should I not get these figures a bit earlier? They said, no, it doesn't work like that, and da-di-da. So I just, all right, fine. I'm just gonna wait for it, doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean, you might say that some of these reviewers in Asia get it earlier before the official release. Yes, that is the case for some time, but these people in the social media and Facebook, I mean, they are customer just like you and me. They are not reviewer. They don't have a YouTube channel or anything like that, and they already got it. And I don't know how they got it way early. That's the way it is apparently. So unfortunately, I have to wait until the Iron Patriot arrived from the Hong Kong in October, November time, something like that, and then hopefully I can show you at the time. So anyway, so let's get back to this figure. The figure is brilliant. I mean, this is what I do, right? So this is what we all do when we do the pre-order. We look at the photo, we look at the official information, and then we make decision whether we should or we shouldn't, and then we decide, and then we go from there. So that's what we do, right? So if you own a few of these figures from the same company, then you can even predict more. So you know what they are going to be looks like. So when you look at a photo, all you can see, oh, this looks cool. Oh, wow, you can do this 3-point learning pose. So it must be good with articulation, right? So that's what you make a judgment, you make decision. So some people, say to me, one the guy actually, not some people, only one guy actually, say that on my hot bus saying that, how can you, predict the future? How can you even tell what the figure is gonna looks like? You don't even have it, no one have it. And then, yes, we can. This is how we can, tell about these figures before we even get it, because that's what we do before you make the pre-order, right? You look at the pictures and you make judgment, you make decision. And especially if you own a few of these Comic Cave and also a few of the 30 DLX line, then you know exactly what they're gonna be looks like, how they're gonna looks like, and what the company habits of doing things. And you know all of these things. The same thing that you buy cars and you buy, stuff like when you buy the house, or before the house is even built, they look at you look at the model photo and from the builder and developer, and then, oh wow, this is what it's gonna look like. Okay, then we're gonna buy it and we're gonna put deposit down, and that's what we do. So of course, yes, you can tell what it's gonna look like, but obviously it may not be 100% accurate, right? But 90% of the things you can actually predict what it's gonna look like. So that is one thing that we are all doing when we do the pre-order. Especially if you own multiple item or multiple product from the same company, you can guarantee to what it looks like rather than someone who own only 1 or 2 figures. Now, in my case, I own all the DLX figure from the 30, so I know exactly what I'm getting into. I know the articulation is gonna be awesome, and the paint job is gonna be amazing and consistent throughout the whole figures, which is all exactly what I expected. I also know that this is gonna look like mimic the exactly like a comic cave style. So you're gonna have fire effects on the hands and the feet, and you're gonna have a few opening part, and it's all exactly like a comic cave basically. The only difference is it doesn't, comic cave doesn't come with the dynamic stand, which is kind of stupid and pointless. What is the point of having fire effects and you can't actually keep it in the air to make a fire, flying post? So this one does come with all the accessory, which make it perfect sense, and also the price point, $89, I think is absolutely brilliant price. I mean, I'm so happy with this price actually. There is only one thing that it wasn't in my imagination, or one thing that I missed out, I suppose, is the scale size, which I'm gonna show you that in a second. And that's why I put all these figures in the background to show you that how this figure is gonna compare against all these other figures. So I got Comic Cave, one of the Iron Man figures, and I got another one on the side. I got Bumblebee as well, and I also have a few other figures on the side to show you that how this is gonna stack up on the display shelf. Now let's look at the packaging first. So before we get into all the detail, so you got, as you can see here, so if I zoom out a little bit, so you got a few pair of hands, right? These pair of hands are exactly the same. One is a little bit like this, one of them is like straight hand, one of them is a little bit bend like that. Now this one has the normal like blaster effects little circle in the middle, and that's about it. You got 2 rocket launcher here for each arm, and then you got a few pair of fists, and then you also have the other hand. This one is different from the one at the top, because this one has a hole in the middle instead of the little painted one effects on it. So the idea is, you can put that fire effects, put it in there, just like the comic cave, right? So that's what I knew from the start. So on top of that, you got dynamic stand, as you can see, and then you also have fire effects for the feet. So everything is exactly like comic cave, and nothing is different apart from the stand. Now what I like about this stand is it doesn't have a waist grab or anything like that. So you just pack it to the bottom of his bottom and it's keeping in the air, and so you don't have this ugly black rubber plastic piece that grabbing on a waist or anything like that, which is really cool. So it will be just like the Bandai figures actually. So there we are. So that's the packaging, and the box is, as you can see, is really cool as well. So you can see quite nice gold pieces around, and inside that you got a little bit opening window part, and then you got a few accessories, and yeah, so there we are. So, and you got official 30 logo here as well, which is important. And then that's it. So that's the pretty much packaging. So let's look at this character in close up. So if I zoom in a little bit, so you got 2 LED lighter point, again the same as comic cave. So the difference is you install the battery inside. The battery are not installed just not like comic cave. Comic cave are ready made for you. All you gotta do is press a button. Okay, so that's the way the comic cave do. They do everything ready made. Even a hot bus that the figure is already installed in there for you. You don't have to put it in there. Not like 30. The way 30 do it, they have to do customize, and then you gotta do everything by yourself, and you're gonna have to break apart all the pieces and then put it together. They love the ideas a lot. Okay, so I know the figures, I know the company, how they operate, even the weapons, right? I have the 2 other Ultramans, which is on pre-order, and I seen it from the photo. The guns can break into 3 pieces, and you can connect it all back together into one giant gun. So it's the same thing that 30 love this breaking apart system. Okay, so for example, this guy, you can pull this one up, okay, and then this top part is gonna go into the hot buster in the next release. So that's how it's gonna work. So you're gonna fit this guy on the top, and then you just put the bottom part somewhere else, I suppose. So that's how it is. And the same with the Optimus Prime with the Jetfire. So they're gonna put all the pieces together from 2 figures combined into one giant figure. They love the idea, and now they have another robot, which is like a 5 different robot, I think, and turn into one giant robot, which I think is a cool idea as well. So that is the way that 30 operate. Okay, so anyway, so inside that, if you look in here, you got quite a few die-cast pieces here, and the battery compartment is just in this hole here actually. And then the way to operate is quite easy. You just press this button and you just switch it off. And then on the head, you just move the head cover, and then you just put the battery in there, and there's a tiny little button, and you can switch off this one. And that's it, pretty much it, very simple. And you just slot it back in the head. There you go. And articulation wise is obviously you can move a lot of range. You got 2 ball joints here attached to it, so you can make it look like looking down, and you can keep it up as well. So what I can guarantee you in this figure is there isn't any pose that this guy cannot do. I mean, this figure can do any pose you want, and it's gonna be really awesome. And also the shoulder part, as you can see, you can actually move this away, and so is the other side. And there are quite a lot of die casts around. So, and these pieces they are plastic, by the way. They are not die cast. All right. So these chest pieces, they are actually hard plastic with painted on it. It's not die cast. Die cast is inside there. So these are die cast skeleton, and this is what DLX mean. Actually, they use the die cast skeleton around. And some of the joint here are actually die cast as well. So this ball joint, for example, this one has a few metal pieces that attach to it. And then on the back, you can also have opening part here, which you can open it like that for a few flags. And as you can see, they are painted okay, a little bit uneven on the underneath there, but it's okay. And they are plastic, okay? They are not die cast, by the way. But they looks like a die cast actually, but they are not. It's really nice job on the paint on the surface. I like the articulation in this figure, is really amazing. And also I like the engineering part on that as well. So if you want to make the arm to go forward, you can see the chest piece can actually come down to make it a bit more room for it, which is really cool engineering part here. And you can make this one left and right, and then you can make this one to go up, and you can go sideways, all kind of way. And then you can also move this one, and you can move the arm, bicep can swivel, and then you also have a double jointed arm as well, which is really nice. So what I'm trying to say is that articulation is really good, just like the Gundam from the Bandai figures. They are really good. I'm really amazed by it. And then you got on the bottom part, so let's put this guy back on, otherwise it's kind of ugly. And then you got the waist part, and typical, just like a Transformer. This is what I mean by this, right? I know these figures, I know how it looks like, and compared to Comic Cave. And let's check this out. If you bend this, and you don't have any gap like the Comic Cave. So this is really cool, just like a Transformer figure, right? Yes, sure, if you look into the detail, then obviously there is a gap, and you can see the underneath there, which is kind of ugly part. But then again, it's not too bad compared to Comic Cave figures. Comic Cave figures, I mean, quite a huge gap actually. And also when you bend it down, it's not consistent like 30. 30s are really good joints and, you know, solid on the waist part. This whole middle part feel like a die cast actually. So the waist part is a die cast, the leg is a die cast, and some part of the arms are die cast as well actually. So I think the bicep could be the die cast as well. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell which part is die cast and which is not. But nevertheless, this figure is quite heavy. Okay, this is about 190 when I measure it on the camera. On the scales, I mean. And then this one can also move this one down, and you can make this one longer. You can see that. And then you can also go left and right, and you can go swivel, or the whole leg can go 360 in a way. And then And if you want to go up as well, it is possible to have more range because this little piece can actually move down. So there we go. There we go. You can see that. So this can move down, so you got more range for the legs to go all the way to the top here. So that is really cool range actually. And if you want to push it back, you just move it back and so on. It looks really nice everywhere. And the knee can also go obviously double joint all the way down. And also the feet has a nice ball joints in here, so it's quite a long stick, so you can actually move however way you feel like, which is really nice. So in general, this figure is really good in terms of the paint job, engineering, articulations. Basically, I have nothing negative to say about this guy. There's only one issue. The issue is the scale. Now the scale is quite big. Okay, when I get this one, I thought this is gonna be 1/12 scale, and that's what it's gonna be, the same as Comic Cave, and same with all the other figures that I have in my collection, like a Sentinel, product line. No, this is not 1/12 scale. This is more like a 1/10 scale, because this is actually quite taller. This is more like a 7-inch, and then the other one, Comic Cave, are about 6 inches tall. So if I compare it side by side, then you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is a side comparison, and you can see here, this guy is significantly taller and bigger than the Comic Cave figure. It definitely doesn't match, And also, if I put it side by side with Sentinel line as well, so if I move it a little bit, then you can see that it doesn't work either. So these two guys make sense. They are 6 inches tall, I think. And if I measure it, so the weight on this guy, so I'm going to show you the weight of this guy here. So let's start with this Captain America. It's about 150, okay? So which is a decent weight for a 6 inches die-cast figure. This guy is 189, technically 190, okay? And a Comic Cave one is the lightest one. It's about 137, right? Considering this is 75% die-cast, but this is actually seems to be the lightest. And so Comic Cave one is not good as articulation. The paint job is okay, but unfortunately there isn't anybody out there to the Iron Man 3 House Party Protocol figures other than Comic Cave in die-cast. Hot Toy do them, but they're not die-cast either. They're 1/6 scale. And so I have to go with that Comic Cave. I don't have a choice because there isn't anybody else doing it. For the decent die-cast Hot Toy figures, then I would say Hot Toy is always the best for that. So I will go with that. But looks like the 3-0s are doing it smaller scales. So basically, I feel like this figure is more like a mini Hot Toys because it really is good quality, close to the actual Hot Toys. Man, all the waist part, all the details here is absolutely stunning. I mean, everywhere I look, I don't see any flaw here whatsoever. And articulation is just blow me away as I imagine it before I made the pre-order. And I know all the 3-0s are awesome in that way. I mean, they have never let me down with any of the figures in the past, and I don't think they will ever will. So I made another pre-order on the Ultraman, which is the 2 other Ultraman figures on 1/6 scale, which I'm gonna get it soon when they release it. There is also a little toe articulation as well. I forgot to mention it, but it does actually have everything. The joints here are so stiff, so strong, which is gonna be really good. So it will not tip over or fall down easily as long as you put it in the ground in the right balance, and then it will have no problem whatsoever. So there we are. Now we have a few issues to address with this scale size. Now I cannot put this guy in my display shelf with these guys because they don't go well. Okay, now I thought about 3-0 putting it with the Transformer line, so I'm gonna put it with the Bumblebee here. Now, I thought about this, I tried to put them next together, and then I think about it a little bit. It doesn't make sense either. Now, remember when I watched the Bumblebee movie, Haley Steinfeld, I think that's the girl's name, the actress. I mean, she's about Bumblebee legs or until about waist height. Okay, so if I put the comic K figures, which I think makes sense because this is where the human height is gonna go about Bumblebee about waist or chest level. I mean, it will not go to the shoulder height, I don't think. All right, so this guy, if I put it on the 3-0 Transformer shelf here, and this guy seems to be taller. So they don't make sense. And this is more, about right. And that's about the height of this human height. But this guy is really tall. And so I don't think it makes sense. But okay, I'll wait and see how it's gonna look like with the Hulk Buster. But I have a feeling that Hulk Buster is gonna be bigger than the Comic Cave figure as well. I have to tell you the truth here. So I think Comic Cave one is gonna be a bit smaller, a bit more realistic in terms of scale size. But this guy is gonna be, since this guy is bigger, so I think the Hulk Buster has to be bigger as well. So that's my gut feeling. Anyway, I'm gonna stand by the rest of the point about the Hulk Buster with Comic Cave and the 3-0. They're gonna be just, exactly what I mentioned in my previous video. I'm not gonna repeat it again. I stand by all the point that I mentioned in there. So 3-0 has less articulation, less LED lighter point, but more articulation. And you're gonna have the pair of fists, and then you're gonna have hollow in the middle because you're gonna have to put this guy in the middle. And Comic Cave, everything comes with it, including the battery. They are already installed. Okay, the figure is already installed. Everything about Comic Caves is ready made for you. Even the hand is all articulated. You don't have a different kind of pair of hands. So that's how the Comic Cave operate. And 3-0 is more like a hot toy style. You're gonna have to fit everything yourself, loads of different hands yourself. So there we are. Anyway, so the only thing that I can think of is the gonna have to match with this guy. So probably more like a Batman with the McFarlane toy. So I think these guys goes well. So if I put these two together, their height makes sense. And yeah, so even Star Wars, they don't go well with it. So Star Wars is about the same height as the Comic Cave. I think it makes sense with the Transformer line because the human height and then Bumblebee height, and then Optimus will be about quite high here, so double the height of these guys, I would say. 12 inches, so these are 6 inches, so definitely double the height of that, which makes sense, okay, in the scales wise. But this guy, the scale doesn't make sense, so I don't know how this guy is gonna fit on my shelf. It doesn't fit with their own 3-0 line. It doesn't fit with any of these, Star Wars Black Series or any of the Comic Caves line either, or Sentinel line, or the Gundam. So this one is really odd one out. So I have a problem where to put this. The only way that I can put this guy is with a couple of other figures with the Batman and a Deathstroke, and that's it. So it's kind of weird. Other than that, I'm absolutely happy with 3-0 for every single things that they do in this figure. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm sorry this video is a bit longer than usual. I hope you enjoyed it, and hope to make up your mind a bit easier. So all I'm saying is that when you see any figures from 3-0 in a die cast and you see the word DLX on it, just go for it, okay? And just go with the DLX line and you will not regret it. I absolutely love the DLX line. I'm pretty sure that Hulk Buster that 3-0 made is also gonna be awesome. And the only thing that I have is it because of the they're less LED lighter point and less die cast. So that's why I went with the Comic Cave a bit earlier. And so yeah, but if I see some of these figures out in the 3-0, I might get it as well. And I have two different Hulk Busters, but I will see how it goes. But for now, thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Cheers.